want to try to get one question in. If each of our speakers, just in the few moments we have, could give us their thoughts on that. If you could just give us your perspective on the most challenging issue that NCET currently seeks to address. Again, we don't have too much time, but I do want to get your thoughts on this for our attendee. Ridgway, could we start with you on that?
I think the biggest challenge they're going to face actually is coordination, right? And coming up with strategic priorities. There are so many business models that are going in so many different directions and raise so many different issues that I think it's probably the hardest thing is for a regulator to sit down and say, what am I going to do, right? And what am I going to focus? I only have a limited amount of time and a limited amount of resources. So that would be my first one. And I think corollary to that, and then I'll turn it over to Patrick, because I think he hit the nail on the head, which is AML KYC, right? It's I think if you don't have robust programs there, you will be wide open, and that's an easy one, relatively easy one to be reviewed and assessed. So maybe I'll just kick it over to Patrick then.
Patrick, thoughts?
Thanks, Rich. Yeah, I think Rich is absolutely right. I think that the biggest challenge that industry is going to face as a result of the biggest challenge that the NCET faces is that the NCET is new. And so what happens anytime a new governmental organization, and I say this with all due respect to the government and having been a federal government employee for 15 plus years, is that they get a bit overzealous in the way that they approach things. And so what we have now is a coordinated effort amongst a dozen or so federal agencies. And so the single agency doesn't necessarily have a true identity. So what I believe will ultimately happen is we're going to see a huge uptick in actions. And as a result, industry is going to be left scrambling, trying to find answers. And I think the way to combat that for industry is to, number one, anticipate it, and then number two, develop programs such that when somebody does come asking questions, because it won't just be one agency, notwithstanding the NCET's existence, it'll be multiple agencies because now there are multiple stakeholders, all of which will want to have some primacy over any action that takes place or that occurs. So industry needs to have answers to those questions that will come.
Thank you so much. Dr. Mola, do you have thoughts before we close out?
So I totally agree with Rich and Patrick. I think the biggest challenge, especially for a new unit, is to find its own identity and coordinating with other units, existing units and other agencies. There are so many venues and for example, I can see that now the attention of many agencies are on crypto lending platform and decentralization finance, the DeFi world, and in particular, NCET here will raise the scrutiny, especially in relation to tools and protocols dealing with privacy. And the challenge will be like to draw a balance, because there's a variety of positives coming from private transaction, but there are also significant downsides. So find the balance between, some privacy tools like going after mixers and tumblers that can help bad actors kind of accomplish their wrongdoings, but at the same time not impeding technology and the development of these tools.